Gwadsi, Hopa. It's nice to be here. The canyons of Grandma Esther's homeland in New Mexico contain Pueblo healing plants alongside toxic waste. The village where she grew up, Powati in Laguna Pueblo, sits along the Grants mineral belt where a Navajo man named Patricio was hired by the Anaconda Mining Company as a uranium scout in the 1940s. He discovered high-grade ore in 1950, after which a yellow cake mining boom took place in New Mexico that led to 60% of U.S. uranium being taken from the region. In 1952, Anaconda opened the Jack Pile Mine, 10 miles south of our family's village. There, 3 open-pit uranium mines, some of the largest in the world, remained operable until 1982. Yet when Grandma contracted cancer, no one talked about the possibility of environmental causes for her illness. No one mentioned the poison that bled into the mountain runoff, gathering in the groundwater of wells in the region, affecting Navajo, Hopi, and Laguna Pueblo people alike. No one noted how roads and houses were sometimes built with rock and ore from the mines. And no one brought up the atomic bomb that Grandma Esther saw tested when she was at Laguna in 1945. The story she told about her life leading up to the war and the atomic bomb went like this. She and Grandpa Ed, who was half Quetzon Yuma and half Shoshone Paiute, met at Indian boarding school in Phoenix. Soon after, they married, and the agreement between Grandma's people and the railroad led Grandpa to take a job at the Laguna Colony in Winslow, Arizona. By the late 1930s, hundreds of Laguna people were living there, in boxcars converted into housing. The job site was close to Laguna, and families from the colony could go home for holidays, feast days, and weekends. It was a happy time. Many of Grandma's relatives lived at the colony, and babies born there were affectionately called boxcar babies. My father wasn't due to be born until January 1942. But when Grandma Esther heard that Pearl Harbor had been attacked, she went into premature labor. Trying to stave off his arrival, she hurried home to the boxcar colony, where a medicine woman gave her brown foot tea to stop the contractions. It looked like she might be in the clear. But in the following days, the Indian men in her railroad camp began pounding war drums. They polished rifles and put on war paint, and Grandpa Ed came home expressing a desire to enlist. Many natives across the United States had already signed up for the war, even before Pearl Harbor. But now the desire to fight had hit home, and her labor pains started again. If anyone understood the dangers of fascism and the fight between notions of racial superiority versus racial equality, it was Native Americans. My grandparents understood World War II as a life or death struggle for the very freedoms they had been hoping to attain for many generations: the right to local democracy, cultural independence, and Native religions. Thank you.